What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. As you guys can see, we're back in the garage today. We're gonna be working on the E30 here. There hasn't been too many updates since the end of the last video, but let's go ahead and talk about what we're gonna do today. And honestly, just get to work. So at the end of the last video, I talked about me having to go and pick up the new trailing arms. As you can see, we got a new set of trailing arms here. Now, unfortunately, they are in worse condition than my current trailing arms. I think mine are better. But the only downside to me buying the new ones, or the only reason I really bought the new ones, was because mine are dented now. So there's a dent right here or right here, and then the same on the other side. So what we're gonna end up doing is keeping whatever is good. Like the brake shield on here is a lot worse than the brake shield on here. So we're gonna keep the brake shield. We're gonna keep whatever we can, and then we're just gonna go ahead and recoat these properly. Chassis black is what I'm aiming for right now. And we also have a new set of axles. Now these ones are gonna get booted. We might just keep them just for the sake of keeping them, but our axles are in a lot better condition, so we're gonna make sure that we're refurbishing those, and we got some stuff on the way to get that done as well. So honestly, the main objective of today is going to be removing everything from the trailing arms, getting those ready to get sent off, welded, and then powder coated, and then also clean up the underside of the car. We started in the last video, but we didn't end up finishing it. So if we do have time, I also want to drop the fuel tank, but let's go ahead and jump into the actual work, get these trailing arms ready to go, and we'll see where we go from there. Last video we got the calipers off both the old stock trailing arms, and we just got them off the new donor kit. So now we're just gonna try to get everything else off. He's working on getting the parking brake assembly off, and then see if we can get this axle out without having to get a press involved. Well, I guess we're just gonna trial and error it, see if it comes out.
You can try to get the dust shield off. Looks like what, a 12mm bolt?
Yeah, I think it should be 2 bolts to hold that on. And then that one can honestly go. So even if we need to cut that one off, yeah, we're good, because these brackets are done for versus these ones are good. So we got everything off the trailing arm here, but now we're just stuck with this hub. Obviously it's pressed in, and we don't have a hub puller or the proper tools to get it out. So we're gonna have to go grab one and then maybe try it again, and then try to pull this out and then pull the axle, because we're gonna need to do it 4 separate times to get all of these off. And yeah, we're gonna have to go get that tool, otherwise these are not gonna come off. So it's been about 2 days, I think. Yeah, 2 days since the last clip was filmed. And that's because I've been just camera down, working as much as I possibly can. And it's been taking absolutely forever to get some of these parts apart because this car is 30 years old and I don't think this maintenance was ever done. So as you guys can see, there's just a mess here in the garage. We got parts sitting everywhere. We got old rusty parts, a pile of just old rusty parts. This is a lot of the brake assembly right here. But we were able to get a lot of our hubs off the trailing arms and remove the axles as well. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff was just seized on there. So for the axles, it actually took a really long time to get those axles out. And then from there, it took even longer to get the hubs off the trailing arms. So now we have 3 axles removed from 3 of the trailing arms. We have the new axle that we will not be using. And then we have the 2 axles that came off the current E30. Along that, we have the hubs that came off each of the corresponding trailing arms. So this one right here is the one I picked up. And then this one and this one are the ones that came off my E30. Now, before we jump into the bottom side of the car and finish that work up, I did have to get this for the trailing arm situated. This thing took 10 times more of a beating than the rest of these axles and hubs, but it still has yet to come apart. As you can see, we got the little hub puller on there right now. That didn't work. I tried just pulling the axle out. That didn't work. So this thing is just super seized on there. And what I think I'm gonna do is actually stop by a local garage and see if they have a press so that they can press the axle out, press the hub out, and maybe even get the wheel bearing out for me. So I'm gonna quickly take this, put it into the car, and we're gonna go to the shop and see if they can help us out. Then, once we do get back, I'm just gonna finish up removing the brake lines and the park and brake assembly from the trailing arms, as well as any sensors. I think there's a wheel speed sensor or maybe even a brake sensor. I'm not sure which sensor it is, but I'm just seeing some wires. I'm gonna remove those, then jump underneath the car. That should be quick work, fingers crossed, hopefully. And yeah, this is actually what happened to my finger when I was trying to hammer the axle out. I accidentally hammered my finger into what I think is 2 pieces. I think it might be broken because I cannot move it, but I gotta get this work done and then we'll go to urgent care and get my finger checked out. It wasn't this bad yesterday, but as you can see, now it's starting to really swell up and a lot of that bruising is coming in. But yeah, I'm hoping it's nothing serious, but I hammered it pretty bad with this, where is this 5-pound hammer right there. That thing just destroyed it. I wanted to cry. Back from the shop, and as you guys can see, we got the axle removed from the rest of the trailing arm. I also asked them to remove the hub, just so it saves me a little bit of time. But yeah, we got those out. Actually, we still got a little bit of work to do on the trailing arms. We actually have to remove the wheel bearings from the new donor trailing arm, so we'll quickly do that. Luckily, I have a tool. I'll show you guys that real quick. And then we can start the rest of the project. And this is the beat axle that didn't want to come out, and now I can see why. Yeah, this is probably gonna go to trash. So this is the hub removal kit that I use. This is just a rental item from AutoZone or Advanced Auto. And basically what it does is you put it around the hub and then you lock it in place, and then you use your factory lug nuts to push against the metal pieces right here, and it kind of just forces this hub out this way. So now that we got that out, we have all the hubs separated. We don't need this anymore, but we are gonna need this tool right here. Now this is a bearing removal kit. You can also rent this from Advanced Auto. I wouldn't recommend buying one for a single project just because it's a few $100s. But basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take one of these couplers, put it around right here, send this long threaded one through right here until you can see it from the back, and then we're gonna thread on something around the diameter of the actual bearing itself, which I believe is a 65 or a 72, something like that. And we're gonna just basically pull this wheel bearing out. Now the good thing is we don't need to do this on all four, just because the stock ones from this car, we don't need to do, we're not gonna need them again. So the only thing we need from this assembly is this brake shield, because mine are in better condition than the ones that came on the donor set. So we only need to remove the wheel bearing from the donor set itself. So we're gonna do that quickly 2 times. So honestly, I didn't record much today just because I was spending the last few hours just getting everything situated, and it was a lot of time spent on a few small steps. So what I ended up doing today was basically gutting out the rest of the trailing arms. So we got the sensors out, we got the brake lines off, we got the dust shields off. I think you guys saw portions of that. And I even got the old bushings out. So that I just kind of took out with a torch and a screwdriver, a flathead, just banged it out there. So yeah, now we have 2 sets of empty trailing arms, and once they're back, once we get them powder coated, I'm gonna reuse the dust shields on the stock non-donor set, and then I have new wheel bearings, I have new brake lines, everything else that you would need to re-put these back together. So honestly, I just needed the bare bones for these trailing arms. And before we actually get them powder coated, we're also gonna get them reinforced. And that's what we have these for. I'm down a finger. All right. So these are the plates, these are the reinforcement plates that are gonna go on. So we'll enforce those, and then we're also gonna reinforce where the sway bar links up to the subframe. So we're gonna send that off tomorrow, and then we'll have, in the next video, you guys should see the painted and reinforced trailing arms. And then we're also gonna dive underneath the car, because we obviously didn't have time. Those trailing arms actually took me 3 days or almost 4 days, just because I don't have a press. So everything was a lot harder to do than, you know, getting it done at a shop. So that's where we're at. After this, I think we got most of the hard work done, and now it's just gonna be a matter of cleaning up the bottom of the car, dropping the gas tank, shaving down any rust, surface rust if there is any, undercoating it, cleaning it, so on. And we should be good to put everything back in the next few videos, which I'm excited for. And we're basically gonna have the second half of the car complete, and then we can move on to the front half, which I think should be a lot easier, fingers crossed. But yeah, if you guys have any questions around how we got this stuff done, I don't know, search it up on another video, because I was just using random tools to get random things out and taking things apart. So,
I mean, I have a question. What are you wearing?
Huh?
So what are your shoes?
Yo, I got the Jesus 9000s. But, oh yeah, we also got our new sway bar. This is, I think, a 16 millimeters sway bar, so it's a little bit girthier than the other one. And this is exactly why we actually need these reinforcement plates, so that this doesn't rip off from the trailing arms. So we'll also be installing that, and we have a bunch of new parts sitting upstairs around the house that I haven't shown you guys yet. But basically, everything is gonna get refreshed on the rear end. I don't think anything is getting reused other than the sensors. Everything else should be new, which is super exciting, because we'll basically have a brand new car in the second half. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today's video. And in the next one, we might be going back to the G80, just because, like I said, we got some new wheels, and we're gonna go to a special invite-only car meet. So I'll take you guys along with me, and then we'll ship back to the E30 after that. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Where'd you go? Anyways, how do you flip this?
Anyways, he showed up after the work was done.
We finished all the work.
He showed up after the work was done this time.
He likes to yap a lot.
Look at this, my BMW hat. You see this?
Doesn't even own a BMW. It's crazy.
Shit.
It's nice. I got 3 of them.
Yo, you got 3?
Yeah, black, green, and red.
All right, bet. I'll be taking them.
The green one's probably tough.